In this episode, we are going to talk about why you need to delegate coaching your clients at least one time. In this episode, we're going to talk about why you need to delegate coaching your clients at least once. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm live. Okay. Hey. Hey everybody. Welcome to, well, first of all, I hope you had a fantastic day, evening, afternoon, depending on where you are and whatever time that you're watching this. To basically what I wanted to talk to you guys about is I had an amazing call today or earlier today with one of my clients, and one of my team members who basically serves at sometimes as like an assistant coach within our team. And this topic came up that I really wanted to come talk to you about today. And what the topic is this is why I believe that you should delegate coaching your clients at least once inside of your group coaching program. And if you're running a group coaching program and you're the person who is doing all of the coaching, you're doing all of the like mindset shift work with your clients, and it's all really centered around your ability to coach your clients and the results they get from just directly working with you, this is a conversation that you need to tune into and listen to today. I want to help you shift your thinking around this, and so that's what we're going to talk about. If you don't have a group coaching program yet, that's fine. This can still be something that will serve you. Maybe you have a goal of like launching a group coaching program soon, and you're thinking about all of the benefits and all of the beautiful things that you get from running a group coaching program. There's a lot of results that you get from running a group program that will be much different than what you would get in one-on-one. However, you do need to think about the capacity that you have as a coach, and the ability, I should say, that you have as a coach to truly manage a group. It's a lot different than coaching one-on-one, and there's a lot of factors that you want to keep in mind. So we're going to talk about why you should delegate coaching your clients at least once if you're running a group coaching program. So if you're new to me and you've never seen my face before, hello, my name is Tina Martin Chandler. I help health coaches onboard, manage, and increase client retention by hiring a community manager for their group coaching program. And I don't know, actually, let me go ahead and see if I can move this because, oh, shoot, sorry, guys. You just saw my messy desk. Sorry, Instagram. There we go. I wanted to move it so I can talk to you at the same time without having to look at both cameras. Okay, you guys just saw the real deal. It's all right. So anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. And I know that sometimes there can be this misconception that you that your clients are paying to only work with you, and that for some reason they won't get the same results if they're not physically coaching with you. And I know that that is something that could hold a lot of coaches back from delegating this, right? And first and foremost, just to back up a little bit, when we're talking about delegating and hiring, period, you don't typically hear people say, well, you should hire someone to help you coach your clients. That's not really like something you hear unless you're in somebody's program or you're in like a specific circle or something like that. That's not like typical conversation, just, online. You typically would hear somebody say, well, you should hire or delegate your social media to someone, or your email marketing or things like that, right? And it's a lot of these little, I don't want to call them smaller tasks, but it's just tasks and things that won't have so much as a big result, as if you were to get somebody to help you coach your clients. And so I just want to kind of bypass all of the fluff stuff that you typically hear people say you should delegate for. And I want to get right into like the meat and the juice of what it really looks like for you to bring somebody in to help you coach your clients. And let's talk about the pros and cons of that. Like, that's kind of what I want to dig into. So first and foremost, how did I even come upon this? Like I mentioned to you, I was having a conversation earlier with one of our clients, but this is also something that I experienced years ago, and I wanted to share that experience so that you can basically see, basically put yourself in my shoes for a minute. You may already be here, so let me just share the story to see if you and I can relate on this. Okay, so my experience in this was that a few years back, I actually traveled out of the states. Some of you know this story, but a lot of you do not. So I'm gonna share it. I basically traveled out of the states for about 8 months, where I lived in the island of Hawaii. Well, one of the islands of Hawaii, and I went and traveled there to build a company. Right, it was myself and about a team of 7 or 8 of us, and we built a company that was a culmination of other businesses that we were all running separately, and we basically came together and combined them, and were able to build, essentially what was valued at like $1 million. It was $1 million company, right? That we were able to build as a unit. And so what happened through that process though is that I felt, because of the position that I was in within the company, I was basically the like the liaison between the owners and the executives and the rest of the team. Um, I was the go between the two, right? So because of the position I was in, I was in charge of managing and training the entire team, as well as onboarding and coaching all of the clients that came through the door. And I was running both of those roles on a daily basis. There was absolutely no time when I really had a break, or I really was able to like take time off. It was an extreme. It was like an extremely um what's the word I'm looking for? It was an extremely time consuming role, put it that way. It was extremely time consuming, and it was extremely exhausting. And so because I was in charge of making sure that clients were always coached and people were always um, aware of the changes that were happening, like in the company, we were coming out with new products all the time, new services all the time. And to give you an idea, we were in several different industries. Like within this one company, we had programs and products that spanned across like 4 or 5 different industries, because we were doing things all the way from like the music industry to the coaching industry to the financial world. And so it really spanned our product line, really, spanned several different industries. And I had to explain that, and I had to make sure that I stayed up to date on what was happening. So it was a lot. It was a lot on me as one person. But long story short, like I said, when clients would come, and the way that we did this is, if any of you guys are familiar with like you how you would do like a direct sales company or something like that. Although it wasn't direct sales, we used the exact same type of sales framework and strategies. And so what we did was, people would actually fly out or come out or drive out and visit our headquarters, right? And they would come and spend the day and have meals there, and sometimes we would do dinner parties and things like that. And clients would physically come to where we were, and then I would have to be the one to coach them, right, through whatever product or whatever service they were inquiring about or that they were using at the time. And that happened on a daily basis. Like, people were flying out and coming out week after week after week after week. And this went on for, like I said, almost 8 months. So what happened was that the pitfall here was that I basically reached this point where I burned out. Two things happened actually. First, it was a set-in of like extreme anxiety, and then I hit burnout. And it's not because the company wasn't like successful, quote unquote. It was successful. We were growing. We had a lot of interest in what we were doing. Like, things were good. However, me being the sole person in charge of coaching everyone, like I said, I was coaching the clients as well as distributing training and making sure that the team was coached as well. It became a situation where anxiety set in, burnout set in, and I really became incapable of providing a quality experience to the clients who were coming through the door. And that was a setback that I didn't anticipate, I didn't expect. I was so excited about us actually launching this business and getting it out there to the world that I felt like I would be able to I would be able to I would be able to serve. I thought I was going to be able to coach people and like, I got this, I could do this. But what happened was I didn't anticipate the amount of energy and the amount of mental space that it really requires to coach people through buying decisions. And then once they buy and purchase, to actually coach people through to the results that we were promising them. Like, it's a lot of effort and it's a lot of work. And then when you have multiple clients in a single space at one time, like you would have in a group coaching program, it weighs on you. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. And so the unique challenge that I had to overcome in that situation was that I had to figure out that doing all of the coaching and training on my own was no longer an option. It was no longer an option. I had to figure out how to take myself out of the role where I was the one that was doing all of the coaching and I was doing all of the training, and it was just solely relying on my shoulders. Like I said, we had a team of 7, but we had, 1 or 2 different people working in each department, and I was the one, because I had experience in coaching, and I'm known in like my circle for getting my clients results. It was like a no-brainer that they wanted me to do coaching for the clients that came in the door. However, I realized that it can't totally be on me. It cannot totally be on me. It was not going to work out that way, and it didn't work out. Like I said, I burnt out. So that was the challenge. I had to figure out how to start removing myself from that position, and I had to figure out how do I make sure that whoever comes in to assist in this position, they understand, like, the questions, that they understand why I ask questions the way I do, in order to coach clients through to like a decision, or coach clients through to a result. um, they had to really understand how my thought process worked, so that they were able to duplicate it, basically, and they were able to do that and put themselves in my position and still coach a client and help them reach a result without my presence always being needed and without me always being there. And then the other challenge was I had to stop thinking that people were only getting results because it was me doing the coaching. Like, that's the big thing, and that's what I want to talk about. That's what I'm going to get into with you in a minute, as we keep talking. But I had to overcome the thought process that people are only getting results because it's me. And it's like, it's this point where you have to pull yourself out of the equation, and you have to start getting this the skills and the gift that you have to coach people, like, get it out of your head, get it onto paper, and get it into a format where somebody else can learn it, somebody else can study it, somebody else can duplicate it and implement it. If it's all just in your head, or you're doing it from like a space of ego, and you're doing it from a space of, like, let's call it what it is, pride, and you're saying, okay, well, people are only getting results because it's me, or people are only going to pay X amount of dollars because it's me doing the coaching. That's very ego filled and it's very prideful. And so it's a shift away from that thinking and from that mindset. And that's definitely a challenge that I had to overcome to accomplish this, because otherwise I would have just, snatched myself together, got myself together, and went back out there and repeated the same mistake and burnt out again. But that was something that I had to overcome, especially for a company that was at that size and at that caliber. Like I said, it was a 7-figure business. So I truly had to overcome that mindset. And one lesson that I really learned from this challenge, sorry, it's my son in the back. One lesson, there's actually 3. There are 3 lessons that I learned from this challenge that I had to overcome. And this is where I want you to start thinking about where you are right now with your group coaching program, or where you are in your decision of transitioning out of one-on-one coaching into group coaching programs. Because what I had to realize is that, number one, the percentage of our client retention was not going to increase if I kept myself in the position of doing all of the coaching. And client retention in group coaching programs is such an important conversation, because the higher you can get that percentage and the more you can focus on client retention as a KPI and as something that you guys actually measure, and what you measure increases, right? As you can focus on that, you start to realize what is going to contribute to client retention and what's going to kill it. Like what's going to make it work, what's going to make it not work. What I realized was that what was not making it work was me doing all of the coaching and me basically trying to tie everybody's results to the physical manpower that I was putting out, right? I couldn't keep tying everybody's results to me. And I had to start thinking outside of the box, like what processes can I create? What support systems can I put in place? How can I use automation to my favor? How can I start creating this environment where clients feel supported, even though it's not me physically doing the support? And I'll get to that in a second, because there's actually like a term I came up for this, or a phrase I use for this. But I started asking myself some very simple questions. How do I create support without me physically being there? How do I duplicate my process when I coach, and how do I duplicate my thought process when I'm coaching in a way where somebody else can learn it, like I said, learn it, duplicate it, and implement it? How do I take it out of my head and make sure somebody else can actually physically do it? And then I had to say, okay, what's going to actually make the client retention percentage go higher? Like, what do we need to do here? And again, the first thing that came up for me was I have to detach myself from the results that these people are getting. I have to detach myself, because if every time we come up with a new product, if every time we come up with a new service, or in your position with your group coaching program, if every single time that you come up with something else that you're going to offer inside of your group coaching program just continues to reconnect and tether you back to exchanging your time for a client's result or a client support. Like if you keep tethering your time to promises that you're making to them, you're never going to be able to withdraw yourself and gain back some of the free time that you're craving. And that was the reason that you started a group coaching program to begin with. Like it was to give yourself more time away. So if you keep tethering your time to every bonus that you give clients, if you keep attaching your time to every single, call, every time somebody has a problem or has an issue, you have to get on a Zoom call with them, or you have to get on the phone with them, right? Or if every time they have a question, they have to jump on Voxer and ask you a question. Like if you keep anchoring your time to the support that clients are getting, you're never going to be able to pull yourself out of it. And so that is something that that was a lesson that I really gained from overcoming this challenge. Is I started refining my ability to think outside of the box when it came to how to create support for clients that wasn't attached to my time. That's what it was. And so that's what you got to think about with your group coaching program. Another thing another lesson that I really gained from this, and this is the second thing I want you to consider when you're thinking about your group coaching program, and why it may be smart for you to delegate coaching your clients, is because the power of two things: the power of having somebody who's like a community manager, or the power of having somebody come into your community and to be able to assist you in serving clients, assist you in training clients, and then managing that entire process for each client that comes in the door. Like somebody who can manage onboarding, managing the client's entire experience while they're in a contract with you, whether that contract is like 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever. Having somebody who can maintain that client experience throughout the duration of their contract, and then increase that client retention rate, and increase that client retention percentage, that's gold. That's gold, because then you're able to step back from being the person who is wearing all of the hats. Everything is attached to you. Every client comes to you every time they have a question, right? And you don't even have the ability to really think. Like your mind, your mental space, is just it's not even, it's like, where did it go? Like, you don't even have the bandwidth to think about what day of the week it is, or there's just no time, and you're sucked into this warp of um wearing all of the hats, and everything in the business is dependent upon you, right? And so when you can bring somebody in who really helps you manage the community and helps you increase that client retention, it truly gives you more than free time. It gives you like peace of mind back, and it gives you your creativity back, and it allows you to really pull yourself out of the day to day, while knowing that like your clients are being served, their experience is top notch, they're receiving their calls on time, their gifts on time, they're receiving, so many different points of contact, so many like touch points to make sure that they feel supported throughout the entire experience. And then you're able to have that peace of mind that all of that is actually running and working, so you can go focus on growth if that's what you want to do. If you want to go focus on like your podcast or your marketing, because that's where you feel fulfilled at, and that's what you really love, then you can go do that, or whatever. Or maybe you just want to go do nothing. If you're like me, like I'm looking forward to taking off this whole summer, because I haven't taken off a summer just to spend with my kids in so long. That was my goal this year, was to get my business and my team to a point where I can take off for the summer. And so depending on whatever it is you want to do with that freedom in your life and that free time, you have the right to do that. But you can do it in a way where you're not concerned about what's going on with your clients, and you're not concerned about what's happening as you're away. So the lesson I learned is that, one, the power of a community manager is unmatched. Like, I would never, ever, ever go back to being a person who is solely doing all of the coaching for all of my clients ever, ever, ever again. And this is one of the reasons I'm saying everybody should, or you should definitely delegate coaching your clients inside of your group coaching program at least one time, just to experience it and see if it's something that is for you and it's something that you could truly benefit from. So that's one of the second lesson that I learned from that challenge. Another thing to think about, because I know I said that I typically I work with health coaches, and so another thing to think about with health coaches is, I know that you are governed by a very strict set of like laws and certain regulations you have to follow, and so you have to be very careful about who helps you coach your clients, because there are certain regulations that you just have to keep, right? So, and I can totally understand that, being as though I helped to build a business that part of it had, services that were in like the financial world, right? So you want to make sure that not only you explore the ability of what a community manager can do for you, but you want to make sure that you explore you want to make sure that your community manager is fully aware of, certified in, and trained in the different regulations and the different laws that they need to be certified and trained in, so that they can even touch your clients. And I understand, like, for those of you who are like registered dietitians, some of you are functional nutritionists, right? And so for if that's you, then there's certain laws you just have to abide by in order for you to coach anybody. And you don't want to go out there and just throw your, just throw your hat in the ring, and whoever comes back as a community manager is like who you hire. That's not what you want to do. You just want to make sure you get somebody who is fully trained, fully certified, and fully aware of the laws and regulations that govern your business. And we had to do the same thing when we were building the company that we were building, that I told you about earlier in this video. So doing your due diligence and finding that person who's like, they check all of those boxes off, and they check out right in all of those areas. It really will give you, it's time consuming, but it gives you so much of your freedom back inside of your business, and it allows you to continue to run this group, like I mentioned, in a way where everybody is supported, where people are raving about you and they want to renew. Like it's an automatic and it's a natural flow for people to want to continue to remain clients with you and for your client retention rate to just continue to increase because people enjoy that experience. And like to keep it real, guys, that's something that's in a lot of areas of the coaching industry, that's something that's missing. Like people are not, y'all, people are not out here getting the experiences that they are paying for. And truthfully, that's an area that's untapped. And that if you start focusing in on that, if you and let me be specific, if you start focusing in on providing that experience in a way where it's not tethered to and it's not tied to your personal time, you are going to position yourself very well within your, with like amongst your competition. You're going to position yourself incredibly well. So anyway, that's the second thing I learned from that challenge. And there's one more thing I want you to keep in mind. And this goes back to what I was talking about when I mentioned client retention in the beginning. I basically call this like sustainability equals support. And what I mean by sustainability equals support is that if you can take just what I've mentioned, just what I've told you so far in this live stream, just a couple of ideas and mindset shifts that I've talked about in this live stream, and you start thinking about how do I build sustainability in my business, not just for how do I build sustainability for the business and for myself? How do I build sustainability where this is something that I can maintain, I can sustain it, it can last for as many years as I desire for it to, or this can be something that is long term. How can this be something that fits in very well with like my life, and it fits with the lifestyle changes that I may have coming up? Because some of you want to expand your family, you may want to move states soon. Maybe you're leaving the country and you want to move to another country. Maybe you're about to have a baby, right? Whatever it is, as your life is going through those changes and as you go through these years of experience, all of these changes, because let's be honest, your business is growing, your income is growing, so your life is starting to look different. And as you're going through those changes, how do you create that sustainability for yourself where this is something that you can maintain long term? And while you're doing that, that sustainability has to equal the support that you're promising and that you're giving to your clients. So it has to be sustainable for you and for the company. And that level of sustainability has to match up with the level of support that you are giving to clients. And I believe that if you focus on basically finding the right person to help you coach your clients, if you focus on delegating coaching your clients to the right person, right, and bringing in the right person to actually help you do this, you're able to like simultaneously raise up that sustainability level with the support level of what you're giving clients. I think you can increase both at the same time. But you're not going to accomplish that by doing all of the coaching by yourself. You will not. You will not. I'm telling you from experience. Not only did I coach clients, we made sure they had a place to sleep. We had to give them the full experience. I mean, from when they woke up in the morning to having breakfast to, where we were taking them out, what restaurant we were going to take them out to eat at that day, where they were going to sleep at night, because we were selling services and packages that were at a very high price point, and there was a full experience that had to take place in order for that person to make like a buying or a sales decision. So from my experience, you can only maintain that level of coaching and service for so long before you burn out. And for all of the reasons I just mentioned, this is why I know that you need to delegate coaching your clients. So go back and like ask yourself again, is the result your client getting, is it really tied to just you? Are you like the only superpower coach that can give these people results? Or is it more so the knowledge and the skills that you have in your head, and that can be something that you can figure out how to put it on paper, how to put it down so that somebody else can learn it, duplicate it, and implement it. And then it's something where it's not tied to you. Like, Is the coaching reliant upon you, or can someone else come in with possibly better ideas about how to coach than what you already have? Is it all tied to you, or is it not? Because it can't be both. It can't be all tied to you and then you don't want it tied to you at the same time. So you're going to have to make that decision. Either you want all of the coaching and all of the work and all of the business hats that you're wearing to stay stuck on your head, and you're going to want to stay, you want it to stay attached to you, or you want to start figuring out how you can create how you can create sustainability that equals support without you having to physically be there for every single step of it. So ask yourself that question. What do you need to start putting in place so that you can possibly bring in some additional help to coach your clients? Hopefully this helps you start thinking about that, even if you haven't launched your group coaching program yet, or you have, and you're about to go into like another round of it, or wherever you are with your program. If you're a health coach and you're about to relaunch, or you have a group coaching program going on, I want you to really give this video a listen and ask yourself some of these questions and think about where you are and where you can make some changes so that you can build sustainability for yourself long term. Because when you burn out, it hurts your family. And when you're not able to sustain the business that you created, it has a ripple effect on everybody else around you. Clients, customers, vendors, investors, and you. Like, it has a ripple effect on everybody. So think about what you can do now to maintain its longevity. So let me know in the comments if this video helped you in some way. I would love to hear, what was like your biggest aha moment. And if you need some assistance with onboarding, managing, and increasing your client retention in your group program, then I want to invite you to book a higher help call. All you need to do is the link is around this video, but all you need to do is apply for a call with one of our specialists, and you will receive an email with more information after you fully submit your application. So make sure you do that. We only have a few spots on our calendar for the rest of the month because this is a busy month for us. So please go apply for your higher help call right away. And I look forward to seeing you guys for the next video. So I'll see you later.